All right, good afternoon. It is August 10th, 2022. Here's what we're looking at for today. Really just, eventually it was a range day, um, but you can see there's an upward bias. We had this news item in the overnight that just spiked prices way up. And here's what I think. I think they had a bear trap right there. We've been looking at the daily chart, and this is the way I've been looking at it. There's clearly a channel, a level of support down here. So if you draw this channel off of this, if the highs of the channel are up here, then we just had our first break. And that would make sense because this is the first overshoot. If these are the highs of the channel because of this swing high right here, then we already had a break and two legs down. So either way, and you can also see either way, the midline looks accurate. So either way, look at the midline there too. Either way, price action is valid. The price action is valid. So just something to think about as we move forward. So that's what I think happened today. Let's take a look at this. I didn't really see much that I liked in here, but we'll take a look. So yeah, in the overnight we get a leg up, and then you get this news item, and prices just spiked up for God knows why. And we get a break of this spike up, one leg, two legs up to a new high, and this turns out to be a range, but I looked at this as a first failed second entry. Not the greatest setup, but I took this and it works. And then we just bounce. That might be a little early to go short, but I looked at this as a break and two legs up to a new high. So come back, test this high again. You get a lower high. Maybe you go short here on a lower high, but I don't think so. Going into that EMA, you could see this. This is probably something, maybe an overshoot break, two legs down. Yeah, that's actually pretty much perfect price action. Unfortunately, we get this failed break lower and no higher low to enter on. This isn't the low of the swing, or else that'd be a really or a new low, I should say, or else that'd be a great signal bar. And we come up here and we test this again, but no lower high to go short on. Again, it looks like we have perfect price action on the short term with a break of this channel and one leg, two legs down to a new low. Then you get this higher low. And unfortunately, it looks like that midline has held prices two times right there. So who knows if it'll hold it a third time, and you're going into this midline. So I'm not crazy about that, but you might consider it. And then we're just kind of in no man's land. We get just about two measured legs down before prices reverse. Let's see, maybe. Oh no, that wouldn't work. Yeah, you can see, maybe it's a measured move of the range. But anyway, price is reversing. Unfortunately, this doesn't tick lower. If it did, I would definitely take that to test this range low, but it doesn't. You can see there's some resistance at those range lows. Just unfortunate, not a lot of good setups, at least the way I saw it. We get this channel up, a break, move to a new high, and they probably trapped a bunch of longs in here. You get a first entry, you don't get a second entry set up. Nothing in here. Yeah, no failure setups. First entry, second entry, again, doesn't set up, no good signal bar. But you get a first entry, failed second entry. This is a bit congestive, so I don't know if I would take that. And on this signal bar, I just wouldn't, personally, I wouldn't like this because it's very high risk. I wouldn't really be looking at this as a double bottom. Matter of fact, after the fact, I do like this though. It kind of looks like a double bottom, first entry, failed second entry, short. Really, I think you got to look at it as a, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that is kind of like a double bottom. Really, yeah. Yeah, so I like that. I mean, I liked it anyway. If you look at this as a failure, I just don't like, first of all, this one closes below the EMA. It doesn't set up like on the EMA like this one. However, this is off the trend channel, so it's tempting. But when you get this one with more room to the highs, I think you got to take that. I like it. And you can see, if this is your channel, this one is going into the highs, no matter how you draw it. Whereas this one, there's room in there. And get an overshoot that leads to a break. Nothing in here. Overshoot down here that leads to a break, and you get a first failed second entry. So why don't you go short here on the second entry? Well, the bias has been up all day, and we just made a new high, and we just bounced off the midline of this potential range, which I think is very valid. You can see the midlines getting touches. So you just got to be really on top of that. Plus, we are going into the opening level. This is clearly a former level of resistance, so it could act as support, and that's what happens here. And so you get that failure. Failed second entry short. Probably the best setup of the day, to be honest. Yeah, the way I saw it, I said probably the best setup of the day, and it's not even that great. That forms a range right here. Prices are trying to go below or back into this range. They fail. Come up here. Failed break higher. You get a first entry, second entry. These are my favorite aggressive entries. It's a breakout pullback. It's like a double test, triple test, but it's also second entry long. And there is a perfect, I think there's 5 ticks back to the EMA. So nice entry, and it looks like you could get a runner there, maybe an 8-point runner. We come up here, second entry failure, but it's above the EMA, and we form this downtrend. And I'm not going short in this because of the bias being up. And then we form this uptrend. You get an overshoot of the downtrend, leads to a break. And I just don't see anything I like in here. This matching low, but we overshoot led to a break. You don't really know what's going on. We get this higher low. Maybe you take that. This was starting to look like a range, but that's very aggressive. Like, if you take these aggressive entries, look, you get a double or maybe even a triple test right here. Closes below the EMA. But it's just the first entry. It fails. It ticks you out. It stops you by 1 tick. And then this one, well, eventually would give you a scalp, but just not a lot of moves. So I hope everyone had a great day. And we'll take one last look at the daily chart. So we had a close outside, so I think that's the overshoot. So hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.